let's get started. So I just want to do kind of a quick stream today, kind of working more on the facial anatomy on this guy. Last time I streamed, I worked on like some of the body pose, kind of getting hands in there, making some flames, things like that. It was pretty fun. It was pretty fun. I also should. I'll also mention, if you're interested, if you're part of my Patreon crowd, feel free to jump over onto the Discord. Let me know in chat that you're jumping into the Discord, and we'll go ahead and we'll connect on the Discord and chat. Just have fun. That way we have like live voice talking back and forth. It's just kind of fun. So if you're interested in that, feel free to jump in and we'll do that. Okay, let me see. Pull that out. Let me grab the Discord and we'll just get into it. Just so that way it's already set up in case anybody comes over. Where did they do their website? Good gracious. There we go. I think we got it now. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so we'll do that. And then I gotta turn on desktop audio too. So now you guys will hear. You guys will hear in case somebody jumps in and starts talking. Yeah, cool. And that's something that's available to anybody inside of the Patreon crowd, just in case anybody's curious or aware or interested in that. So today what I want to work on is we've got this character, and I want to be able to kind of refine some of the facial anatomy that I've got going on in here. Some of the folds and wrinkles are a little bit aggressive and inconsistent with what should be happening with the anatomy. And so one of the things that I'm trying to do this morning, and I've already started doing it quite a bit here around the eyes and whatnot, but I need to kind of branch out and focus on getting these other areas to work a little bit better. Now there isn't really like a perfect set of anatomy rules that I'm shooting for in this instance. It's just kind of using basic knowledge of anatomy and trying to refine some forms and things. Like I went through and kind of made sure that cheekbone didn't have any kind of like this right here. I was just kind of like caving in. We don't want it to cave in. We want it to feel like it's got strong, consistent form. Okay, so it's just a matter of going through and checking it from different angles. Check the other side, make sure that's all right. So yeah, you'll see me use a lot of like clay buildup brush on this one. Yeah, get some clay buildup brush on that, and then I'll also use a lot of move brush and a lot of Damien Standard. So just keeping it really, really simple. Let's see, like right through here. Let's kind of maybe build this up a little bit just to see kind of what that looks like. I think I liked it better the other way. So let's just kind of take that back. Walk it on back. If it wants to walk back. Did it forget how to undo? I didn't forget how to undo. Come on. Okay, that's better. Yeah, because I like that subtle transition where the brow ridge kind of meets with the crease from the eye stuff. In fact, I'm gonna kind of soften that out a little bit too. Hey JP, how you doing? Thank you so much. It's a lot of fun, and I'm a lot of what I'm trying to go through and do is kind of work out some of the anatomy because some of like I mean this sculpt is kind of old. Um, it's probably about 3 or 4 years old now. But I just want to make sure that the anatomy is pretty solid, and then to go through and do kind of more of a finish pass on it. I'm gonna turn off that flame so that I have less things to get in the way. That's a little bit aggressive, so I'm gonna kind of tone that back a little bit. Yeah, just kind of have fun with it, you know. Let me see. I'll have to remember to save every so often too. When I get into a groove, I forget to save, and then I lose work. Let's get this a little bit of volume in here, kind of fixing that curve coming around, and then just kind of trying to fill this space in just a little bit, kind of refine some of the flow, some of the shapes. There we go. I like that better. Let's get this a little bit more push over to the side though. That's better. Okay, same thing over here. It's kind of pulling this over here, pull this over here. I actually kind of like that. Let's keep that. Sometimes you do things on accident and you kind of like it, you know. So it's worth recognizing things as happy accidents when they are indeed happy. Getting ready to print Space Girl sculpt. Cool. Have I seen that one? Have I seen that one? Let's see. One of the things I'm trying to figure out and work out here is kind of how to really split up these forms here. I think it's just a matter of really creasing things, getting a clean transition between the top lip and the bottom lip, you know? Let's see, just to make it look like there's more of like an anatomical lip kind of coming out over the top of those teeth rather than kind of going through the teeth. I'm just going to kind of strengthen the idea of that overhang. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Let's check it out. Okay. Yeah, you got it nicely keyed out and everything. Do you think that tube will be strong enough to support the figure? I guess a couple of things I would look at is kind of like where your center of balance is, and so like the way that the character is kind of balancing off the side of the base. I feel like that's kind of it could easily tip over. The other thing is just the kind of the thickness of that that supporting tube. Oh, you're not printing the tube. So is it something that that you already have made, or that you're printing or using wire, or yeah, that's like the only kind of problem spot that I feel like I'm looking at with that, is kind of the idea of the center of balance, and what's it called? And yeah, I guess just the strength of the support. But yeah, it looks cool. You have to show me when you get it, when you print it, and how it turns out. Buying a tub. Oh, a tube. Yeah, it's funny. It was like my sister was texting me this morning, and she had I can't remember what it is that she was trying to say. If it was well, she had typed head, but she meant to say heed, and it was just kind of funny. You know, she went through and had to fix it. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's see. Yeah, that's too messy. Yeah, wrinkles are kind of an interesting thing. There's this series that I've been watching about creating a Ewan McGregor likeness on YouTube. Yeah, let me see if I'll pull it up and then just kind of show you guys the series. I'll send you guys the link. Let me see. Adam OCG. This guy right here. Check that out. Super, super cool. And he has like just this awesome eye for little anatomical details. You can see like the way the wrinkles are in the face and things like that. The way that like I have my details in my character's face is so much heavier and so much more stylized and such. But I am trying to tone it back a little bit. And you can see like the folds and wrinkles in the bridge of the nose right here is like super, super tight, or not tight, you know, it's super chunky. And then I've got like these different little things kind of coming up over here that I'm trying to, you know, figure out exactly how to get this to flow. That's a little bit odd. But yeah, he talks a lot about like some really cool things that some people don't necessarily consider or think about with um, when they're sculpting wrinkles. I think it's in like the second to the last video or something in his series. Super, super cool. Anyway, that's something that I've been kind of listening to in my free time. I've listened to it maybe twice, all the way through. And you know, some of the things that I really like that he talks about is how like wrinkles will travel in the direction of the pores. Like pores aren't these nice little round dots on your character's face. They're, yeah, they have like this structure to them that really, yeah, it's kind of even that out a little bit more. I think I like that a little bit better. Um, yeah, they have like a shape and a flow to them, and so as you pay attention to the wrinkles, you'll notice the way that they're broken up, and they're not like this, you know, simple straight line. It's something that's kind of broken up, and it has some sketchiness to it because of the pores in the skin. Um, and I didn't explain that nearly as eloquently as he did, but still cool. come in here. Let's kind of break that up just a little bit. I'm going to try something just for the sake of seeing kind of what it... Nah, I already don't like it. Okay. Let me see. So yeah, for right now, that's not too shabby. Let's check it out with a different material. Let's see. Something like the basic material 2 here. I'm getting a little bit too much of an indentation here and not enough consistency of the form. Just kind of even that out a little bit. It's super helpful to go through and kind of test your model out on different materials, just because they all have different ways of, you know, dealing with highlights and things like that. And so being able to kind of see your model with like a slightly different lighting, you know, it's nice. Just kind of doing some build up in the cavity and some carve away down around the other side. Now I don't need it to be like, you know, perfectly smooth or anything like that, but I do want it to be, you know, fairly consistent. One of the things that I did the other day, just because I wanted to test it and see kind of how it would go, is I just took the model just exactly as it was, and I applied some simple shaders to it inside of Maya to see how it looked, and the results were horrendous. It was so bad, but it was really revealing to me to be able to see exactly how off some of these forms are. Let me pull up the image, because you'll like this. Lion tooth. Yeah, so here's the render, and it was really easy to see just how bad some of the forms were around the eyes and things like that. And so since then I've gone through and kind of reformed the eyes, made it so that they had a little bit more definition, tried to figure out some of those forms going in, just like the opening of the eyelid, and then the kind of the caving in underneath. And you know, I wanted them to feel a little bit older, so I went ahead and you know, kind of gave a little bit of like a sag in the inside and a little bit of a bagginess down at the bottom. Let's change back off of this. I like using the basic material, just the standard basic material, to kind of deal with sculpting. He's looking a lot cooler now. I'm liking that. And I think I can kind of get rid of some of that wrinkle up top. It feels like it's just going up too high. One of the things I'll do is I'll come over here and I'll kind of break this up a little bit. Want to kind of build up some forms. And you know, I'm totally BSing this right now. It's not something that I'm doing to kind of make it feel completely anatomically perfect. I'm just trying to go through and figure out something that, yeah, feels good. I want it to feel wrinkly and thanks, man. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and there's a lot to it to really kind of. I'm gonna fill this out just a little bit more. Um, there's a lot to it to really make it feel right, but it's definitely coming along. Check the different angles and things like that. So just for everybody joining now, got a couple of people that just signed on. Welcome. It's nice to have you. If you um, if you're part of the Patreon crowd, feel free to go ahead and jump onto the Discord speech channel, the No Spare Time speech channel, and we can voice chat while we're going. I decided the other day to call my streams the green room streams, because as you're if you're at an event, there will be what is called a green room, and that's it's just kind of a place for people who are involved with the event to come and kind of hang out and chat, network, whatever, depending on what kind of event it is, right? Um, so yeah, I figure if you're part of the Patreon crowd, it could be cool to have you guys um, involved in the chat. I did that pretty regularly a few months back, but I haven't done it as much since starting up the new job. Let's kind of dig that in a little bit here. One of the hard things is that it's got all the color information to it. So one of the things we can do is just kind of turn off the poly paint, because like color can kind of throw off your perception of what's happening with the forms. In fact, um, somebody I know that was working on Disney Infinity back when that was a thing. He told me that one of the things that they would do if they wanted to pass something off on a model, and they're like, you know what, I'm doing this, design bit here intentionally. I want that to end up in the model. In order to kind of distract the art director, they would go through and do something like super outrageous in color or form or something somewhere else on the model, and it would be so distracting that the other thing that they wanted to get into the model would be overlooked, and they'd be able to get it done the way they want. um, just kind of a funny thing. Let me see. Let me come in here. Let's kind of play with this a little bit. Okay, now with the neck muscles, it would be like there would be some emphasis from the tendon on this side. So I'm just gonna kind of emphasize this a little bit here. We'll kind of see how it goes in a minute. And then this part over here would be a little bit more relaxed, so I'm just going to take away a little bit here. Because yeah, as you turn your head, that muscle, the sternomasticloid, I can't remember what it's called. I had a student like a while back that was really good with that. You know, different names of parts of the anatomy. I think it's sternomasticloid or something like that, because it's kind of attaching down close to the sternum. I don't know. Okay. And then some of this, maybe I'll take some of this away. Maybe that'll help make them feel a little bit older. Kind of soften that out. Bring this over. Okay. Okay, I'm going to use like the standard brush now, because the standard brush is really nice to be able to create nice round forms. I use this mostly for like cloth, being able to do cloth sort of things, but it's also really good for, you know, wrinkles and skin and getting a good build up in here. I might take the intensity down just a little bit, especially for these smaller sort of detail areas here. Feels a little bit neater. Hit one a couple of times to kind of repeat the same stroke. And pull it out and just hit one. Okay, just kind of smooth some of that out. That's feeling much better. Let's kind of smooth out the back of the head here, because that's kind of rough. Get that head form to feel a little bit better. And I'm just going to smooth out some of the detail on the ears, because I'm trying to get rid of some of like the sculpted look to some extent. Oops. Kind of carve into that rather than build up on it. Yeah, I'll worry about like those types of details a lot later, as I feel like I've gotten a lot closer on the forms. So far, I kind of wanna refine some of these things a little bit before, like shape and form wise, before I start adding in those sorts of details. It's a good question. Yeah, those whisker dots, they definitely help to make the character feel a little bit more alive. You know, so what I would do is I'd probably come over here. Trying to think. Well, I mean, you know, there are things like this, and we could come over and we could say, you know, Let's kind of boost that intensity a little bit. And you just kind of like pull out some of these forms, smooth it out, build it out again. And after going through and doing several of those, it starts to feel a little bit more a little bit more like it's supposed to. But yeah. Thanks, Justin. Yeah, it's one of those things that I do intend to do. I don't think it'll be super. Man, it doesn't seem like it wants to be undoing very quickly. Something must be wrong with my keyboard, because I was having issues with the shift key earlier too. I guess lesson learned. I just can't hit undo anymore. My undo is dead. Let's see. I'm just gonna kind of fill this out a little bit. Just trying to check the forms of this space over here. We're kind of losing some shape here, I think, and I do kind of want that shape in here, just because it feels a little bit stronger that way. I'll just kind of round that area out, fill it in some. Okay. Turn the color back on and see how that's looking. It's looking all right. It's a little bit strong. Yeah, kind of bringing this up. That glorious autosave always comes in at the right time. I don't like that. I kind of like having this this large area that has less detail to it, because in fact I think I might get rid of some of the wrinkle stuff that we just sculpted in right here. I feel like that's a little bit too heavy-handed, a little bit too much. But if I were to go through and maybe make it so that it's less, oops. It's just kind of, I guess we'll just smooth it then. Yeah, so it's not as deep, just having it so that it's, but then it just feels like, I don't know, it doesn't feel like quite a, like it's on purpose. I think I'm going to take the nose, kind of pull it in a little bit. Like the more I look at it, the more I feel like it's just a little bit too bulbous, a little bit less, less controlled than I feel like it ought to be. So I think let's just bring this in a little bit and kind of make it a little tighter. I'm liking that better. I'm liking that better quite a bit. Let me see. How long have we been going now? I should have kept track of that. Let me see. It looks like we have been going. Oh, come on, I know it should be listed here. 39 minutes. So we got 20 minutes left. It's good to know. Okay. Good to know. Hey Siri, set a timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes starting now.
Thank you, Siri. All right. I feel like I'm kind of like, in command of a starship or something when I do that. So yeah, one of the things that I did is I kind of went ahead and started to block in the rest of the coat. There's still more to do with the coat, obviously. Here, let's mask that, invert that, and then we can just kind of pull this out some more. One of the things that I want to do is kind of just control length and how things align and things like that. It's a really nice trick. I really love being able to just extend out of that area by using masking and transpose and everything. It's super nice. Yeah, masking is one of those tools that I feel like is undervalued. It's always one of those things that I list as one of my favorite tools. Let's say uncrease all, just to make sure we don't have funny creasing business happening. Okay. Have it remember dynamic. It's really kind of a pain in the butt when you go and you switch back and forth between ZModeler and any other brush, because the ZModeler can't use the dynamic, or rather it has to have the dynamic turned on. So yeah, it's kind of interesting. Nice. Yeah, having that background is super, super helpful. Okay, I am going. I don't know that I realized that was that this was all one single piece. Oh well. Okay, perfect. Yeah, that's what I wanted. Let's grab onto this. I may have to go ahead and just cut the collar off and make another. Let's just do that, because I think that'll be invaluable when it comes time to do stuff. Okay, I am going to, let's get rid of the blue, because I know that that's its own poly group, but I know that this is also all in the interior, the purple is all the interior. It's not just, oh, you know what? I can just shrink it down like this. Invert it. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay, say delete hidden. We'll just keep the collar by itself now. And we'll put in a new piece to block in the rest of the sweater. That should make it a little bit easier to work with. So, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Let's reset the rotation there. Let's grow this up a little bit. Grab the color, we'll grab the material. It's probably the same material, but figured I'd check anyway. And we'll just fill it. And that way we can go ahead and start to build this into its position. In fact, I'm going to use symmetry for now, because I think the torso is still fairly symmetrical. I think the only thing I really posed was the head. Bless you. Okay, let's kind of take this and pull it out. Now we're starting to get somewhere. This has to be kind of pulled out a little bit up here at the top, but starting to get somewhere. Now we can go ahead and kind of break symmetry and start to get this out of the way. Make sure it covers what it needs to cover, and then let's see. Let's grab this. You know what? Let's do it like this. We'll say split hidden, and then we'll say sweater collar. That way, we keep those things named and separate, and we know what it is we're dealing with. Let's go through real quick and kind of work out some of these forms. It's like an office job, you know. All these forms. Some cool. Okay, it's obviously very out of line, but you know, we'll play with it. Got to play with that coat too, though. So let's do some of this. Let's go ahead and insert that. Give myself an extra little edge to play with and work with. Okay. I won't worry about adding in other details or other resolution bits yet. I'll just kind of add some things in here and there to get myself. Oops. Oh, that's why it won't work. Doggone it. was like, why can't I see what I'm trying to do? Let's bring down that Z intensity. Add in an extra couple of loops in here. Smooth it out some more. Now this is really like keeping it super basic and super simple. I'm just trying to work on getting something in there for the form. I don't feel like I want to worry about making it so that it feels like an actual sweater other than what we can see. Let's kind of raise that up so it can stand on mountains. Okay. Pull this down and around. Maybe we'll add in an extra couple of loops in here. Smooth it out a little bit again. Yeah, just for the sake of making sure that I have enough resolution to play with. And then with this coat, I mean, I might have to go ahead and like give it some sort of cool windswept look, you know, where it's like blowing behind him, because it feels a little bit too stale, a little bit too stagnant, and you know, just not enough emotion, not enough excitement to it. So we'll have to kind of work with this and see what we do later on, but you know, just enough for blocking it out, getting the idea in there. It's helpful. It's nice. I'm gonna take his torso and kind of, it feels like he's a little bit too, oops, I don't know what that was. Like he's a little bit too thick around the middle. And it's not quite the feeling that I want to have from him. Let's kind of keep the coat a little bit tighter to the body up top. Just so that it feels like it's kind of blowing around his body. So let's kind of take this and push it over. Push it against his body on this side and have it blow away from his body on the other side. Actually, it probably ought to go the other direction, if I'm being honest. Let's see, let's go ahead, let's say deformation mirror. And we just move it into place, more or less. Down. One of the things that I'm thinking about that I need to be aware of is I've put that flame in his hand, and it's turned off right now, but you know, let's turn it on just to show. I think that having if the wind were to be going toward his face from that flame side, it makes it a little bit more dangerous for the character, and I'd like it to not be dangerous for the character. If you catch my drift. Kind of get a little bit of a wave there, kind of an S curve going into that, gets the coat a little bit of a gesture. And let's kind of pull the sweater into the inside a little bit more. Okay, so far that's starting to feel better. Okay, now these stages are always kind of interesting to look at because it's like they're not exciting. You know, it's a lot of pieces kind of Frankenstein together, and it's just a matter of kind of figuring out the ideas. It's like your rough sketch before the final painting. You know, like you gotta be able to you know, you got to be able to figure things out to some extent without sculpting in all the details, and just blocking things in before you add extra resolution or extra detail or extra whatever. It's really super helpful, and it's a great way to work. And it's fun to some extent. There are worse things. I'm going to need to go ahead and add in some rock and some trousers before I add in the rest of his body, so that way, well, not before I add in some of the body, but you know, once I add in some of the body, so that I want to have him kind of like walking down like some stone or something like that, so that he feels like he's kind of exploring inside of a cave. Could be really cool. Let's take this and kind of move that away from the body a little bit. And in fact, I'm going to do this too. Let's come down here to display properties, and we'll say double, just so we can see the coat, like both sides of the coat. Let's add some resolution here. It's a little bit too stiff. Oops. Try to make sure that I keep whatever I add on one side, I try to keep it even and add it on the other side as well. Just kind of smooth it out a little bit. You just have like a really low intensity smooth brush, so that way as I smooth it out, it's not too bad. Not too bad. Evens things out nicely. Oh, I'm tired. I am tired. Okay, kind of bring that in line, bring this in line. Yeah, there we go. So now we're starting to have a little bit more definition, a little bit more. And one of the things that you want to think about too, whenever you're doing cloth, you want to think about what material you're dealing with. So like any of the folds and forms from this coat, I imagine this coat would be some sort of thick leather, and so having big broad folds, like you can see how it is here in the arms, how it is over here around the shoulders and around the elbows, really really thick heavy folds. And it's important to kind of keep those sorts of things in mind. I don't want to get like small little fussy folds, because too much detail will make it look like something other than leather, and that's not the look I'm going for. So yeah, trying to be careful with that and mindful of what it is I need. Hey, there's my timer. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of what it is that I try to look out for. Just going to try to go through and fix some form issues through here. Bring this, kind of adjusting this a little bit so that it fits the idea and the energy of the arm drawing back, holding up this flame. Okay. So yeah, getting things blocked in. Really nice. It's starting to come along. It's starting to be something, and that's what we're aiming for. Right? That's what we want. We want it to be something. Cool. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave this here for now. And yeah, I don't know when the next time is that I'll get on and stream, but I really love how this is progressing. It's starting to turn into something, which is important. Maybe what I'll do is I'll try going through and doing some sketches of different buttons that I want to create for his coat. And I might do some drawovers too. I want to do some drawovers of the hands. The hands are in the pose that I want, but they're not. There isn't the anatomy to them I want. I want them to feel, sharp and capable and strong, which I've got the strong part in there. But I want them to also feel like he's got claws, like he can, defend himself using his hands. I'm thinking about doing a version where they feel a little bit more paw-like. Not like paws, but like there's a little bit more thickness to them. So like they've got like the muscles of a cat's paws. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see where it is that this goes. It's fun so far. I'm really enjoying it, and I'm grateful that you guys came and kind of shared along the journey with me. Yeah, this is great. It's great. If you guys are interested in knowing where you can connect with me online, I will go ahead and run a video here at the end of the stream so that you can find different QR codes to links and things like that. And yeah, I'll see you next time I see you. Thanks for dropping by, and stay safe. Hug your loved ones, and I'll see you next time I see you. Smartest out.